obviously latency is a problem, right? It is a problem that needs to be addressed. It's sometimes going to be great, sometimes bad. You can do a lot of dial, knob turning and clip switching to get it better, but that's not the only technical challenge for supporting use cases like microbetting. So can you talk a little bit about what your thoughts are and sort of what are some of the other technical challenges that a provider of microbetting might face in addition to latency?
I think vetting, it was already brought up, but it's been in the back of my mind ever since it was brought up. Is just vetting the connection that the person has right away. Like, 'cause not Darcy brought it up. Like, not everyone may be able to participate based on what they have, right? And I think not that's not an answer. Stakeholders want to hear that there's going to be a limitation potentially of people who can participate, but as this industry grows, there's going to be a lot of money involved in it, and you don't want to necessarily, have things go wrong. And so I think Darcy mentioned in the lobby, it made me start thinking about even when I was building out years ago, just AV solutions that had to be real time before Zoom and other conferencing software solutions were out there. We would always have to vet whether or not someone had the bandwidth to even push video, right? And if you couldn't, then sorry, you're not going to be able to even try to turn on your camera, right? It won't even be an option to turn on the camera. I remember one of the first streaming players that I built with broadcast when I was VP of multimedia applications at Schematic was for ABC's first full episode streaming player. That was when Lost and Desperate Housewives was about, and they specifically didn't want to have anything under 800 kilobits, and that was a long time ago, right? I mean, and 800 kilobits was a pretty high bar for the lowest common denominator, right? And the player would just say, sorry, you don't have enough bandwidth to even support our lowest quality. You're not going to be able to participate in this. So I only use that as a comparable to what I think is, going to be interesting when it comes to just how successful microbetting becomes integrated in greater environments. Well, you brought it up, Jason, earlier with the 5G ultra band. That I think that's gonna be the first nice big step, right? I know Phoenix has been partnered with Verizon with the multi-camera views with Verizon at stadium events. So I think that makes a lot of sense to me because you're removing a whole lot of uncertainty there. If everyone has the same last mile connection, then you're going to have a lot of guarantee behind what's happening there. So, and I think when it comes to the greater audience and the greater global audience and whatever internet connection they might have, and that's just it. I mean, even our 4G and 5G connections aren't static. I can move in this house and my connection's going to change, right? So and I think that's as a developer myself, a coder, I know that one of the most overlooked areas of development tends to be in error detection in general or error handling. And so, just because you were vetted at the beginning of an experience doesn't mean that you're going to be good throughout the experience, and that you have to continually check in with that client to make sure that they're still satisfying all the conditions that you initially had going in, right? So, and those are the kind of dotting your I's and crossing your T's that I see overlooked, usually with smaller scale projects where they're trying to enter into the foray of building out solutions that require more resources to be successful with it.
Darcy, any thoughts to add to that?
Gaming has really changed the game for us. What you were just saying about real-time measurement of everybody that's in a session, every millisecond, as much as you can do. So even if they're moving around their house, you still know the conditions, and if they fall outside of the rules, then they get disconnected or you have to give them a message. But I do like 5G. I think, it takes first and last mile and middle mile and everything and puts it into one technology band. Doesn't mean it's great yet, but when we see gamers playing and they're connected to a Verizon or AT&T or Singtel 5G network, then there is no, there's no CPE in the home that's creating some latency. The other thing I can tell you that encryption is a bugger when it comes to and of course privacy and security and everything comes in when you're talking about money. So when you add encryption in, now you got a whole other layer of stuff to worry about, and depends on who the provider is. So you still have a lot of things happening, but I still like the idea that we're going to have some homogeneous network, and we've got enough network touch points now. We can measure things in real time as well as deliver in real time. So I think it's getting better, and gaming has made all that happen. Every one of these tournaments that happens, and these remote gamers, and there's millions of dollars on the line. We had to figure that stuff out, and we're just seeing more of that gaming technology become more of the streaming world. And I'm thank God for gaming and all the money and people that are in it. So